Hey everybody, a lot of you have reached out and asked for my thoughts on the Don't Say Gay bill and specifically Disney's involvement with that down in Florida. And I appreciate you looking to me to speak on the subject and thinking of me and maybe what I have to say about it. And I appreciate that. It's definitely a core value of mine to use my voice for good and to speak out about important, topics and things like that. And it's also my responsibility to take the time to read and educate myself. And I feel like I've learned a lot the last, week or so. And I appreciate you reaching out and asking me to chat about it. And I've learned a lot. I'm happy to share all that with you and share my thoughts. Real quick, I'm on tour right now with Hamilton. As you all know, Clay's back in New York. And we discussed if we wanted to do this video with us trying to split up the topics and then both weigh in on it. But we just figured he's been really busy with his show as well as choreographing a second show. I have time on tour, so I figured I would kind of weigh in. But I don't have my digital camera or the lights, so you're just getting real authentic Chris Rice-Thomson in his hotel here in Pittsburgh. To be clear, I have spoken out quite a bit about the Don't Say Gay bill and how harmful I think it is and how harmful it will be for queer kids and families in Florida. And regarding Disney's involvement with all that, I have a lot to say, so please buckle up. I also want to say that this video reflects my views as of this moment, as well as I don't speak for Disney or anyone other than myself. I want to start with that. I also really want to acknowledge my privilege to sit here in a safe, comfy hotel room to talk to you all. There's obviously a war going on, an attack on Ukraine from Russia, and many people are displaced from their homes as well as they have their safety in danger. I just don't want to take this moment for granted. And I'm also still sending lots of love to you all in Ukraine. If you know my husband and I, you know that we are both huge Disney fans. We often go on vacation there. We both worked for Disney previously in different ways. And we have gone on the cruises. Our entire apartment is decked out in Disney stuff. We did a Disney Christmas tree last year. We even incorporated Disney stuff into our wedding. I had to pick an outfit that was not a Disney shirt. I have Disney stuff even around my hotel room. We are both Disney gays through and through. We are big fans of the amazing immersive worlds that Disney and everyone that creates for Disney have created over the years and put out for the public. My husband and I are also gay. Shocker. We began dating in 2011, and a few years into our relationship, in summer of 2015, we gained the right to legally get married. Before that, the idea of what our future, what it would look like, was so different. We didn't ever picture fully being married together. And if we did, it was kind of like a pipe dream. And it took till that, 4 years into our relationship for that to even be a possibility for us, as marriage equality was secured for everyone in the United States. No matter if you were a lesbian couple, a gay couple, we could get married for the first time. And that was pretty exciting for us. 4 years after that, we did get married in November of 2019. And it was a magical day I will never forget. While we are so thankful to be husbands, we are also not blind to the fact that there are still many anti-LGBTQIA pieces of legislation that are being pushed forward and making this world a tougher place for the queer community. A really good example of that sort of legislation is the bill that has been deemed the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. Taking off my jacket for this one. Florida's House of Representatives and very recently, the Senate also passed the Don't Say Gay bill. This controversial bill limits when and how teachers and other classroom staff can discuss sexual orientation and gender while at school. This bill will absolutely make life harder for LGBTQ youth, a group that unfortunately already faces higher rates of bullying and suicide. Those saying that this bill is not homophobic and it's just preventing from parents having awkward conversation and answering awkward questions that kids may have that will make parents uncomfortable, they're just plain wrong. The bill is homophobic. My husband Clay and I have had a dream for literal years to buy a home in Florida and, get a place close to Disney World. We love visiting there and it's always been a dream to have a home there. But let me tell you right this second, we will never raise our future children in a place where they cannot speak about who they are or who their parents are and what their home life is like openly. If other kids are able to bring in a photo on show and tell day and talk about their families, then my kids should be able to as well. Full stop. If another kid asks the teacher, hey, why does my future kid have two dads? And the teacher can't speak about it and can't answer their question, there's a huge problem. And yes, the heater just kicked on, so now there's some extra noise. Get used to it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Homosexual, that phrase makes people think about the sexual aspect of the relationship. Yes, sex can be a very active part of a healthy adult relationship. However, it's not about the sex, it's about love. I have found wild and fantastic love with my husband, who's a man. It's about love, not sex. And side note, wouldn't it be great if everyone spent their time thinking about how they can make the world a better place instead of thinking about what consenting adults are doing in the bedroom? Just a thought. Talking with your kids and answering those awkward questions doesn't have to be awkward at all. Oh, why does Timmy have two mommies? Well, some families have two mommies, some families have a mom and a dad, some families have two dads, some families have one parent, and you know what? All families are beautiful and all love is beautiful. It really is that easy. Those who created this bill are choosing to make this world more divided by working to exclude homosexual and queer families from the narrative of day-to-day life. So yes, this bill's homophobic. Now let's talk about Disney. So initially I heard that Disney was funding this bill, and I was shocked and I just a lot of loss for words, honestly. How could a company that preaches, being true to your heart, being true to yourself, and making this world a better place for others, turn their backs on the queer community? They also hire and have currently thousands of queer people as cast members and working for their company. How and why would they be working to take away the rights of queer people and queer families? When I heard they weren't backing this bill specifically, but were donating to major Republican campaigns, I gotta say I was a little less shocked. And stay with me here, because I feel like over the last 2 or 3 years, and especially with the previous administration with Trump and him running for re-election, I feel like I learned that so many major companies, and all major companies, were donated to Republicans. We're talking Equinox, AT&T, and major phone networks like that, Universal, NBC, and other major television networks. Major pharmacies like CVS, Walgreens, etc. So over the last few years, I guess I just assumed that all major companies donated to Republicans so they could get tax breaks. I kind of just assume that was the norm now. Now, just because other companies have donated to Republicans doesn't mean that it's suddenly okay if Disney's one of those companies that have done that. Now, hear me. Disney has made contributions to every single person behind the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. Did you hear me? Every single person. Sure, it's disappointing when Walgreens makes that sort of donation, but it's a lot more personal, and it's even more disappointing when it's Disney making those sort of donations. Disney is more personal. Literally, the music I listen to at the gym, I'm very cool. I listen to Disney music. When I got home from the show last night, I wanted to watch a Star Wars movie or maybe a Marvel movie. Disney and all their properties are so ingrained into my life, and I'm sure a lot of yours, and it's conflicting for sure. As you know, good news travels fast, but bad news travels a lot faster. I saw a social media post going around that was like a carousel picture post on Instagram with lots of facts about Disney sponsoring the bills and stuff. And two of the points that were made were that Disney, is marketing towards the gay community with their Pride collection as well as gay days. And I know from previous experience of looking into going to one of the gay days, they are actually organized not by Disney at all. And it's just a group of people that buy the same shirt, and they all go at the same time so they can be surrounded by their community while at Disney World. It's honestly a pretty lovely idea and a lovely thought, especially for people that don't always see themselves represented or maybe feel othered when they're in public. So I was like, okay, that wasn't quite accurate. And I think the post that was originally created was slightly misleading in that way, even though Disney is making money from LGBTQ people. And the other point that I thought was interesting on that same post was about how Disney is targeting queer communities during Pride with their rainbow collection. Obviously, Disney is one of many companies out there that are making Pride collections that get queer people excited, or are tweeting their devotion for the queer community. And this is where it gets sticky. So I knew when I first read that post, I was like, well, I know that Disney donates 10% of all of the rainbow collection, I think is what it's officially called, to queer organizations, queer positive, queer affirming, which I thought was great because we know a lot of people don't walk the walk when they talk the talk. Are you just taking all of our money every June, or are you actually using that money to donate towards a good cause? Now, 10% I don't think is enough, but I thought it was at least a step in the right direction. And I was really excited upon further, looking and discovering and learning that Disney has donated quite a bit to a lot of LGBTQ organizations. So let's talk about a couple of those real quick. I'm not letting Disney off the hook. I'm just making some points. I'm talking GLAAD, Human Rights Campaign, Outfest, Trevor Project, but then in 2021, they took their donations worldwide, and they started supporting queer organizations in a lot of major countries. I'll put some of those below. Learning this information gave me very, very mixed emotions. First, I was extremely thankful to see Disney, supporting the queer communities and specifically queer youth. This felt like the Disney I have believed is there for so long, and I deep down hope still is there. My deep, sincerest hope is that Disney does believe in these positive queer affirming organizations that they have supported and have only donated to the Republicans for tax breaks. And I don't really know the answer to that, but that's my hope. Gosh, that's my hope. So why hasn't Disney denounced this bill? They absolutely should. I'm ashamed that Disney has not denounced this bill and has not pledged to stop donating to these organizations. I remember in the past, Disney has spoken out about a lot of important causes, and I realized that's when Bob Iger was the chairman and CEO of Disney. Actually, Joe Biden recently tweeted, you may have seen, that he thought this bill, the Don't Say Gay bill, was awful. I believe he labeled it as a hateful bill. Bob Iger tweeted back and said, I'm with the president on this one. Gosh, I wish Bob Iger was still able to speak for the company because he's done it before. In 2009, Georgia was going to pass the heartbeat bill, which would ban abortions after 6 weeks into pregnancy. And I'm going to read this quote. He said it would be very difficult for Disney to continue the productions in Georgia. They film a lot of things due to the tax breaks that are in Georgia. A lot of major film companies film there. He said, I think many people who work for us would not want to work there, and we will have to heed their wishes in that regard. Yes, speaking on behalf of the employees, but still kind of using his weight and his voice, that is the head of Disney, or was at the time. He was using the pull he had, and I think that was important. In February 2017, Donald Trump imposed the Muslim ban. Bob Iger told CNBC, I think where we are as a nation is due to having an openness to the people of the world. I firmly believe that we cannot shut our borders to immigrants. He then quit the Presidential Advisory Council after Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord. Okay, so sure, Bob Iger was more outspoken about quote unquote political issues, even human rights issues, a lot more than the current CEO and chairman, Bob Chapek. Apparently, Chapek has taken a narrower view, and sources say he was worried that Disney was deemed too liberal. And while the term too liberal gives me the biggest eye roll of all time, sure, I get it as a company chairman, I should say. They want to not offend anybody so they can make money. They can hope to make money from everyone across the board. Sure, I get that, even if I am rolling my eyes. However, it's a much harder pill to swallow when you realize it's not just a matter of opinions or differing opinions about something. This is a time when he needs to speak up due to human rights and equality, especially for the people in the state of Florida where Disney World brings in so much money. You may have seen their press release and quote that was like, Disney believes that the best way they can make the world a more equitable place and equality, yada, yada, is through the worlds that we present or the content they release. I'm doing this with my hands because it just seems so wishy-washy. But in the wishy-washiness, sure, okay, we can talk about representation. Stick with me here. I have things to say on both sides of this. I'm extremely thankful for queer representation today. It's a lot more than it was when I was a kid. I can name like 2 TV shows that had queer characters on it when I was a kid. And there's so much more of it nowadays, especially on ABC, Hulu, even Disney Channel and Disney Plus. There's a lot more than there used to be, and I'm really thankful for that. Now, we still haven't had a Disney movie with 2 princes falling in love. So I'm just letting you know that my husband and I are both actors and we're both gay. And if you want people to star in your movie to help, put your money where your mouth is, let us know. But just saying that queer representation has been a lot more present within Disney properties over the last few years, and I'm really thankful for that. Seeing out gay high schoolers in loving relationships and supportive relationships like on High School Musical, the musical series, is so fantastic. Do you remember in the second movie, I think it was the second original High School Musical movie, when they had to make Ryan Evans, Sharpay's flamboyant brother who loved jazz squares and sequins, they had to give him a love interest with Kelsey? Biggest eye roll ever. But Kenny Ortega, the creator, wasn't allowed to have a gay character in his Disney Channel movie. So look at that. Progress has been made. And my husband and I recently were watching The Diary of a Future President. It's a Disney Plus show. And this is probably 6 months ago. We were watching it. And we just wept because it was a beautiful coming out scene. And I remember the mom goes, remember this moment. And it was such a beautiful, loving gesture. And I hope that's what most kids are experiencing these days when they come out, even though I know that's not the case. I had never seen someone come out to their parents when I came out to my parents as an adult. And that representation is huge. However, I know that representation, being where it is today, did not come easy. And I know that queer artists, storytellers, and allies within the Disney company have had to, fight their battles to make that possible. There was a drama with Love, Simon getting moved from the original Disney Plus plan, getting moved to Hulu, citing it was too mature for Disney Plus family audiences, even though there are definitely sex scenes and things like that on other shows that ABC and Disney have produced. There was drama with that, as well as Lizzie McGuire's new homosexual best friend in the canceled canceled Lizzie McGuire reboot being controversial with the producers when that was being made. So I'm not saying Disney's a perfect company when it comes to representation, but I do want to take the time to thank people like Shonda Rhimes and Tim Federle. If you're watching this, I love your work. No, but I truly am thankful to you using your voice and the weight that you carry to make sure that there is queer representation in your shows. It is absolutely changing lives and saving lives and inspiring people that are watching, so thank you. However, Disney, you don't get a get out of jail free card because you do the right thing. Representing gay people and queer people on TV and in your shows is the right thing to do. So you don't get a pass to donate to these people that are creating bills that will hurt our lives and take away the rights of our kids and our families just because you represent us well on TV. And while I do think that the points that were made in the initial Instagram post, they could have been worded better because I think the two examples they gave were not as foolproof as they wanted. I do think this is a better example of saying we represent you and we are catering to your needs and giving you representation. But then now you're not supporting us. You're not supporting us individually or as a community or as a whole if you want to take away these rights. As I mentioned, I'm almost getting choked up. As I mentioned earlier, Disney as a whole has shaped a lot of my life. It shaped a lot of Clay's life, and it helped bring us together, honestly. Our love for that blossomed together as a couple. And this is a really conflicting thing, and it's tough. But it's not okay that Disney has done this. Whether Disney was donating just for the tax breaks or whatever, the people you donated to were outwardly homophobic, and you donated to them additionally and more after that. That's not okay. You do not have our backs. So after all that, I have one thing to say. I am calling on you, Disney, and I'm challenging you, Disney, to please publicly condemn this awful bill and please commit to stop donating to these campaigns. Please. Do it for us. Do it for the community that you have built up and shown love to. Show us that you're going to put your money where your mouth is. I know my hopes don't hold as much weight as millions of dollars in tax breaks, but it's still my hope that they will pull through and support the queer community. I realize Disney is a company, first and foremost, and money is going to be the bottom line. But I can't say it doesn't hurt. And I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for our community. I know there are many of you out there who have tweeted at me, sent emails, comments, asking to talk about this because it's a hurtful subject. This felt like a safe space, and Disney has showed us that it's not as safe as we thought. Disney, we call you to do better. We call you to fight for the ideals that you share with the world in your stories that you create. Protect queer families. Use your voice for good. I encourage you to tag Disney as well and let them know that you are not happy with them supporting the supporters of the Don't Say Gay bill. I'll be doing that, and I encourage you to do the same. For ways you can easily get involved in the fight for equality in Florida, just check out the description box of this video. There will be some links down there, so please check them out. I felt it was really important. As you can see, the sun is setting. I think it was important for me to spend this time talking about it, but I want to hear your thoughts too. Obviously, this is ongoing. I'm hitting the table. I'm filled with energy. This is an ongoing thing, and I know things can change. I do have hopes for the future with the campaigns that Disney is donating to, but I want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts? How do you feel right now? Please share in the comments below, and please use your social media profiles to tag Disney and all their networks. They literally own like everything to let Disney know that you're disappointed that they did not condemn this bill and stand for queer families. Please let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Know that Clay, even though he's not here right now, is sending you lots of love, and I'm sending you love as well. Please do what you can to make this world a better place, and we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.